This is Dino Dan from Cypress, California, and you're watching the Barbecue Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is a show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. Broadcasting live from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening's live fire fun and frivolous show. Big show planned for you this evening. I can't lie about that. But before we get to that, if you want to jump in, happy to have you.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Email Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. On the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter, which you can subscribe to. People are running away from the newsletter. I don't have any idea what the problem is. It's like the plague every Tuesday. For every one sub I get 3 unsubs. I continue to struggle. Nevertheless, I diverge. And I come back to you. Here's what's happening. If you don't already subscribe to the newsletter, you want to get a heads up every Tuesday. And in case you missed it at some point over the weekend, and very, very intermittently, mega special deal notification, go to the main website, go to the newsletter, give me an email address, and that's it. I'm not pounding you like Tim Ferriss or any of these other folks. I'm a little heartbroken that a lot of you are running away from the newsletter. It's archaic. I might just dump it. Who even knows? Again, I have diverged off topic, and now I will rein it back in. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, he is a multiple-time author. He is a multiple-time TV show host. He has done cooking classes in some of the most majestic locations across the nation. He has been a monthly show contributor on this show for years and years, a Barbecue Hall of Famer and a Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famer. Steven Reichlen will be joining us once again in about 11 minutes. 35 past the hour. Now a savvy vet, sponsor of the Barbecue Central Show. He is the president, CEO of really one of the more up-and-coming. I mean, it's been around for a long time, but now that Nick has gained control and is behind this brand, Primo is really starting to make the run up the leaderboard. Everybody loves it because it's oval-shaped. Everybody loves it because you can get true two-zone cooking. And he's got a bunch of really cool retrofits that are going to be happening here. So if you have a Primo and you want to get one, or if you have a Primo or you want to get one, then you're going to want to stay tuned for 35 past because Nick Bauer will be back on the show. Excited to talk about Nick? Actually, I'm excited to talk to Nick about Primo. I'm not going to talk about Nick to Nick. That would be weird and rude and potentially redundant. So I'll talk to Nick about the product. Then we'll go into the second hour. We missed her first quarter just because of scheduling conflicts. She is known best for the brand Hardcore Carnivore. You see her on YouTubes. You see her on social medias. You see her occasionally on television. And you will see her once a quarter through the rest of 2021. I am, of course, talking about Jess Pryles. Prolific in the live fire industry. Not just because she knows how to cook well. One of the few that really knows a lot of the internal guts and the workings of meat and meat science and a considerable knowledge base. I really feel lucky to know her offline and be able to ask her questions as it pertains to the meat industry and the science portion of that. I actually consider myself very lucky to know such accomplished folks in the industry that I can easily reach out to. And guess what? You can. But that's why I'm me and you're you. What are we going to talk to Jess about tonight? A lot of you asked me to ask her about that cured egg yolk thingy, I believe a lot of you were saying. That was the exact verbiage, thingy. So we'll talk to her about that. We'll talk to her about some other... I don't even want to let the cat out of the bag. I'll just tease you with a Jess Pryles potentially extended segment. And oh no, don't you worry, I'm not forgetting it. Another passage from the reference material on the horse meat for consumption. I will be giving you a second passage via Grandpa Rempy. You can believe that. So there you have your show this evening. Don't forget you can follow me socially, Twitter, TikTok, and Snapchat at BBQ Central Show, /BBQ Central Show, Facebook and Twitch for a video feed. Also over at YouTube /RD Rempy. Well, as you might recall, over the past few weeks, I have been promoting hard the How to Barbecue Right fundraiser for the Palmer home that Malcolm and I had talked about the beginning of last month. I had actually started promoting it the week prior to him coming on in April. Malcolm and Rochelle Reed are trying to raise $20,000 to feed a full house of parents and kids, typically 6 to 8 kids, 2 parents. That roughly works out to $20,000 to feed a whole family or a whole house for a year. As I had mentioned at the beginning of this, I had made the plea, the call, said, hey, if someone, one of you Centralites decides to step up and really shell out $1,000. I said $1,000. That after it was confirmed that, in fact, you did pony up the G, that I would step up and match the G as well. Well, guess what?
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
That's right. Greg Rempe here reporting from the breaking news desk in Cleveland, Ohio, the city breaking the most live fire news when live fire news is breaking wherever it is breaking across the country, nay, the globe. Loyal Centralite, and I will call him by name, Troy Johnson, has stepped up and tossed 1,000 of his own happy dollars into the How to Barbecue Right Palmer Home campaign /fundraiser, which now means that I will also be tossing in 1,000 of my very own dollars. If I can show you right here, Troy Johnson has donated $1,000. So, without further, did I set this up? I didn't really set it up. That's all right. Without further ado, I will go ahead and keep my promise. We will go to donate now. Yes. We will go to one-time offer. We will go to custom amount. We will go to $1,000. Make sure that's 1,000 and not 10,000. Not saying I don't want to. Donate. No. My name, Greg Rempe. Email, Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com. Yes. Phone number. Most of you have it anyway. And matching Troy's $1,000 donation with the Barbecue Central Show $1,000 donation. All right. Make sure that we spelled that right with our spell check. I will pick up the associated fees. You are welcome. I am. Oh, wait. No. Come on. Give me some love. Credit card. It's already in here. Put in the CVC. Whatever that means. All right. We're locked and loaded there. 34600 in the United States, in the Willoughbys. Give now. I will give until it hurts. God damn it. Hope this works. It'll be very embarrassing if I don't. It is processing. Thank you for donating. Absolutely. $1,050. 50 of that is taking up the associated fees. Not going to share on Facebook. Thank you for helping Hope grow. Absolutely. One-time donation. Matching Troy's. How about that? I wish I could take a screenshot of that, but I get all the screens like that. Maybe I'll print the screen later. That's fine. Let's go back to me. So let me give thanks and praise to Troy Johnson. Here's the best part, Holmes. I think there's a pretty good chance that come September or October or whenever they put this reward together, that you and me are going to be spilling out 2/5 of that VIP class, pal. I'm so excited to potentially be hanging out with Troy and Malcolm and who knows who else, but I have a really good feeling it will be me and Troy for sure. Thank you, Troy. Fingers crossed that our donations keep us in the top 5 spots. But it's a great cause no matter what. All right. If you want to jump in for $1,000, go ahead. Jump in for $1,000. I'm not matching anymore. That's it. I'm not made all out of money. I'm made out of money to a degree. I'm not made all out of money. I'm rich, but not like private jet rich. Anyway, let me talk to you quickly about a brand new sponsor to the show. Maybe you've heard of them. It's Yoder Smoker, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah! And I am extremely humbled that a brand that has the reputation, that has the popularity, that has the greatest successes in both backyard and competitions is now partnering with the show. What's great about Yoder Smokers? Well, I'm happy you asked because I'm here to tell you. Yoder Smokers offers the best of both worlds, much like another sponsor of the show, Pits and Spits. Do you want an offset cooker? True wood-burning offset? Yoder makes a whole bunch of them. In fact, local celebrity chef Michael Simon runs a Cimarron, I believe. But he runs the offset Yoder Smoker. If you're more of a pellet guy, a lot of people are these days, they make some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market right now. Huge, sturdy, robust, adjectives out the yin-yang. A little bit more in price tag, but as we say here in the barbecue community, buy the best and only cry once. Plus, you get what you pay for. If you want to cheap out, how long is that going to last? You want something that really, in essence, looks like a true offset pit smoker, but runs on pellets? Yoder's the way to go. Yodersmokers.com. That's Yodersmokers.com. And I'm happy to have them aboard here on the Barbecue Central show. We'll get an interview with them here shortly. And we'll be looking for Steven Reichlen, who is not in the green room right now. He's not there. We'll see what happens. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the #1 most downloaded barbecue and grilling podcast anywhere. The Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by the Barbecue Guru, creators of automatic pit temperature control technology. sellers of ceramic cookers with built-in power draft fans already in the unit. You don't have to mess around with trying to figure out which fan is the best for your ceramic cooker this way around. You can buy the one that they're making right at the Barbecue Guru. The fan's already in it. No guesswork. If you have a controller, it will go right to the fan. You don't have to buy a whole outfit if you don't need to. Or why would you have to if you need to? I don't see it. Anyway, bbqguru.com. That's bbqguru.com. Or 800-288-GURU. And I don't see Steven. I don't know what that means. Is he there? You there, Steven? No, not there. Of course not. I sent him a good link. Yup, doing it live. That's right. You ever want to know if we're doing it live? This is what happens when you listen only on podcast. You will not hear this portion of it. This will be easily left on the cutting room floor, as it were. But now let's go ahead and race to the hotline. We have found him. He is Steven Reichlen. Hey, Steven.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great, thank you.
All right, so it is the third Tuesday of the month, of course. I can't believe it, but we are almost through April here in 2021.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Well, it's hurtling by. Just to give you a little feedback, just in case you were wondering on your last appearance, I received, no less than 30 emails telling me how much people enjoyed the background that you gave on corned beef and pastrami, enjoyed by the entire audience. So, I just want you to know that I appreciate the work that you put in to give us that history lesson. And I know it's really part of your whole personality to be an educator, not just a guy who knows how to live fire cook. But that seemed to be something that really resonated with the listeners.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So we're talking with Steven Reichlen right here on the show. Of course, you can find him over at barbecuebible.com. Let's touch on it. This past weekend, we saw the debut or the newest season of Project Fire on PBS. So my question to you is this. As somebody who shot the show, who was obviously instrumental in putting this whole thing together, you seeing it from all the angles. What's it like when you sit down and watch it on television? Is it a continuing surreal moment?
Yeah, surreal is a good word for it. I actually don't watch it on TV, but I watch the rough cuts and then the final cuts on my computer, making notes. I would say it's kind of on one hand it's gratifying, on another very large hand it's torture. You watch it, you think, oh, did I really say that? Or God, did I grab it from back to front instead of front to back? There's so many things. When you write, you can constantly revise and correct. And when you do TV, you can't. And so, watching things you wish you could have done better. But then there are other things that you really like. We introduced this mystery box segment this year and that was really real and honest. They brought this.
Hello? Steven! Here you go. What the hell happened there? I'm looking around to see if my internet is all up and running, and everything appears to be bumping. Anybody want to give me a hey now? Make sure that we're still online? Everything looks to be in order. All right. Well... Hey.
So I'm here. Did you
are.
disconnect me, Craig? Did
I didn't. I don't know what happened.
Did I say something wrong?
Well, I was a little on the edge, and you crossed over the line, so I had to give a spanky, but now you're back.
So I probably delivered my most eloquent and thoughtful diatribe ever, and you lost it. Where'd you lose me?
You were talking about the deliverance of the box, the mystery box, and how it was a real thing.
Okay, that was great. That was my favorite part of the show. I'd love to build a whole series around that. I didn't know what I was going to find, and that's the way I cook. That's the way I think. I look at this, I say, wow, well, and it was very instantaneous. It amazingly, to plan these menus normally, it takes me a long time to decide what's going to go with what. But these things, you see them in real time, you put them together in real time. That was super fun.
Do you ever,
another thing,
when you're doing those boxes and you have to come up with something in real time, do you feel a new pressure? You're talking about, TV and watching yourself and how uncomfortable that is. Well, now you're in a situation where you don't have anything planned out. You really don't know how it's going to turn out in the final analysis.
You know what I felt? Pure joy.
Oh, wow.
Pure joy. Spontaneous. It's like when I do television in French, I'm actually much better on TV in French than in English, much more natural. And I think it's because I'm concentrating so hard to speak a foreign language that I don't have time to think about censoring myself and, is this the right thing to say? Is that the right thing to say? And I think the same thing was at play with those mystery boxes. I didn't have time to be self-critical. I just wanted to get it done.
Steven Reichlen joined us.
I hope people enjoy that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this will be a weekly show, and how long of a run do we have this time? Oh, dear. Steven? That's unbelievable. If he says that one more time, I'm hanging up for good. Right now, I'm just putting him in timeout. But it's not like me to typically punish a Barbecue Hall of Famer and a Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famer. But I'm telling you, people can push me to the edge, and I will punish. So I'm going to go ahead and let him back out. And man, oh man, I'm not sure the internet gremlins are back. Yeah, no doubt.
I better talk fast.
Yeah. So how many weeks of run do we have for this show?
13 weeks.
All right, 13.
And 12 are edited in the can. We're working on number 13, which is going to be a real big surprise.
What does that mean?
Big surprise?
Yes.
It means basically, I don't know how it's going to come out yet. The entire show was unscripted, so just like those mystery boxes. So I won't really know what it's going to look like until we kind of get into it.
Because you don't watch yourself on the finished product, I would figure, not to draw a correlation between what I'm doing and what you're doing on television, but I learned early in this that if I wanted to become a better orator, have a better command of the English language, that I was going to have to listen to myself. Not because I think I sound great, but I have to listen to how I'm talking, right? And then
absolutely
consciously make edits and take a pause instead of just filling with an or nah, because I don't like hearing that when other folks are talking. So I have to live up to my end of the bargain. I would figure over time, for as many TV shows that you have done, you would have gotten over the hump of the uncomfortableness of watching yourself on television. But I guess not. And he's gone again! Get that big stuff out of here. Steven, if you don't stop saying that word, we are really going to be in trouble. I think I have to cut my losses at this point, right? I can't have... He's probably laughing at me and going, for 10 years I've been coming on the show. It's been nothing but professional, but tonight we have an issue. Tonight is the night that the Barbecue Hall of Famer leaves the Barbecue Central show for good, because I can't continue to have this. It's very embarrassing. Okay, we're back. Here we go.
We're back.
Yes.
So I guess this argues, every other month we've done this. We've had a little gotten together kind of earlier that evening to work out the kinks and gremlins, and I guess we're going to resume that next month.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But at any rate, if I may just interject, we've been doing this for several years, and you have definitely become a much more polished radio and visual host. And, your work pays off. The practice pays off. It's obvious.
Thank you. Steven Reichlen joining us here on the show. BarbecueBible.com is the website. You still there? No, he's not there. You know what? Where's my phone? I'm killing it. I can't. Let's call it a day. I mean, I can't do it. I apologize. He comes back on. I will bid him a fondue. Maybe we can reload him next week. I mean, you never know. Steven?
Okay.
Let's look. I don't know what's going on, and I don't want you to have to keep bumping in and out. So
Sure.
let's sign off for now in an abridged April appearance. Maybe we can get you later in the month, or we'll just go ahead and reload for May. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? I can't even keep him on for 6 seconds. Jeez. That's it. You're off. Well, look. Now I'm even more worried about next segment with Nick. Oh. Got a nice text message saying, Greg, as I was trying to give you compliments for being such a great orator, I should give you lessons in how to keep your interviews connected, for crying out loud. It appears you need some help with that, Junior. Well, I guess I do. Oh, boy. Well, my apologies to everybody. Scott Harris, this is something that I certainly appreciate. Don't worry, I still love the show. Thank goodness. Thank you, Scott. I knew this one was coming in. This could be a future best of. John Solberg saying classic. I don't know. And Steven doesn't even have the same microphone as Sandy Brown had. Which, if we can start throwing all kinds of superstitions and jinxes and witchcraftery and other such whatnot onto this tonight, Jess Pryles, in an hour, less than an hour from now, has the same microphone that Sandy Brown has, if you can believe it. Nick Bauer from Primo does not have he doesn't have a microphone. I think he's coming in earpod with Willie. And iPad. Who knows what's going on? Do you want me to give you a guess? Sure, I'll give you my technical expertise here. Ready? It's going to be my thought that while I would love for every one of my guests, whether you're recurring monthly, whether you're recurring quarterly, whether you're a one-off guest, that you plug in via Cat 5, Cat 6 cable. Be hardwired into the internet, whatever that looks like. To me, that is the most consistent connection that you have. What do we know with technology? It's ever evolving. People want to have less crap around the house. They don't want to have things sticking out and wires running around the goddamn wire. So what do? They go to Wi-Fi. I can tell you right now. Yeah, I don't want to make that assumption, actually. Oh, great. Sure. Let's go to the phone line. Oh, nobody's here. See if the phone line was going to work. Who knows? It's my thought that sometimes when these things happen, and I'm happy to take the blame, I will always fall on the sword, all of that stuff. Outside of that, I think the biggest issues come with Wi-Fi technology. Wi-Fi technology is the efficiency and the textbook standard of how technology continues to develop. It is the model of how we will connect with each other going forward. There will be worldwide, definitely countrywide internet at some point. I believe that. But it is at the risk and peril of shows like this that rely on a steady connection. If something goes on with that modem, or your router starts to act all witty, or your neighbor is somehow fishhorned into your internet and is watching porn, things like this can happen. You might have an IP conflict. That was bizarre. That's never happened before. That was really bizarre. And of course, off hours tomorrow when I'm chatting with Barbecue Hall of Famer Steven Reichlen, this issue will not reveal itself ever again. But the thing that pisses me off the most is that it reveals itself between the hours of 9 and 11.
What?
The live show hours. Why won't it happen at 7? Why won't it happen at midnight or 3 in the morning tomorrow? It has to happen now between the two most important show hours every week, which are the only show hours every week between 9 and 11 Eastern. This is something. I might have to. I mean, could it be the software? Am I gonna have to go back to using Skype? I don't want to do that. I think we have a good thing going. Maybe I have to check for an update. This is something else. All right, that was Steven Reichlen. If you missed our abridged discussion, let me fill you in if you're just tuning in here at 9:30 Eastern. Steven's latest live fire show, Project Fire, debuted this past weekend on PBS. They did a live, well, I mean, it's recorded, but they did a mystery box during one of the portions or segments of the show, and he said that was easily his favorite moment. He also tipped in that there's a big surprise coming up on episode 13, which I had great interest in. That episode isn't even finished being edited yet. So who knows what that's going to look like in the final process. And I said, well, what does that mean? Big surprise for a TV show. Typically, TV productions aren't down for big surprises at the end. And they're already in the can. Like when you're shooting the show, this isn't like a week-to-week American. Oh, I'm going to get way off key or way off topic here for a second, but I know I'll forget to promo this top of the second hour. I just want to let everybody know. Next week, during the embedded correspondence segment, let me see if I can quickly cue this up. Is this even going to show up? I don't know. The Return, Season 2. BBQ Central Show American Idol. That's right. Myself, John Solberg from Michigan, Doug Scheiding from Texas, last year's champion, Jeff Rice, will be in to defend his title. Is that what you call it? Of course, the cast of judges will be in as well. Bobby, Maddie, and Marley. Bobby will be connecting in from Seton Hill University. Maddie and Marley will be off to my left in studio. Ready for Season 2 of the BBQ Central Show American Idol Edition, if you can believe it. I think most of us have our songs already in the can, ready to go. So if you couldn't get enough of Season 1, and by enough, it means you couldn't wait for it to end, I'm sorry to say that we have an extra contestant, that being Rusty Monson from the great city of Utah. So we have a 5-week competition, believe it or not. I'm sure I'm getting pulled off of YouTube because I'm using the American Idol show tune, whatever. So be ready for American Idol BBQ Central Show Edition. Season 2 coming next week to your YouTubes and Twitches, Facebook Lives, the audio stream. It's all coming at you live, but you can get it in podcast fashion as well. So anyway, we thank Steven Reichlen for attempting to join this past segment. Let me talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies will get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at Big Papa Smokers has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself. 13 perfectly balanced flavors of rubs and seasonings like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, all proven winners on the competition circuit and in the backyard. I use them all the time. If you love sauce, but you want to try something new, you're sick of what's currently out there, give Granny's barbecue sauce a try. They also own that. It's a great go-to sauce. You can use it by itself. You can also use it as base sauce and doctor it up as you see fit. Available for sale right there at BigPapaSmokers.com. And of course, aside from the rubs and sauces, they're selling cookers of all kinds. If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out that Mac 2-Star General Pellet Cooker. Big Papa Smokers, the exclusive Mac dealer, even offering special packages. Not a fan of pellet smokers? All right. Take a look at that Old Hickory Ace BP, the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer. If you're not sure of what grill you need, give them a call, 877-828-0727, or you can shop their website at BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers.com. I see Nick Bauer in the green room. I'm really scared because of what happened this past segment. But fingers crossed, he lives in a whole different state. Different time zone, even. What could possibly go? I guess we'll see. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the #1 most downloaded barbecue and grilling podcast anywhere. The Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
This portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your #1 source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Visit cookin, C-O-O-K-N, cookinpellets.com for more information or purchase. You can also visit amazon.com to purchase as well. My next guest is the president of Primo Grills, a leading ceramic grill manufacturer in the industry today. Here to bring us up to speed on what Primo happenings are going on in 2021 currently. We race to the hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Nick Bauer. Hey, Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
I am fine, and we are just putting Steven Reichlen technical issues out of our mind and pressing forward with Nick here from Primo Grill. So we'll see how this segment goes, and we're holding only the most positive thoughts. Let me ask you this. I'm coming to St. Louis this coming weekend for yet another volleyball tournament. Where do I want to eat in St. Louis?
Well, let me think.
And it doesn't have to be barbecue, right? I mean, whatever. I'm open.
Well, so Sugar Fire is right there on Wash Ave, right?
Yep.
Where
We're right across the street from that. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's always an easy go-to if you're going to the convention center. Our best cooking is probably the Hill, which is one of the old Italian streets. And, you know, we consider ourselves one of the best hills in the nation because, you know, the families never really moved out, so they're still there, and they kind of only sold to each other and cousins and this and that. So there's some really, really nice Italian places on the Hill.
So I can just search the Hill, St. Louis, and I'll get a listing of restaurants and so forth?
Yeah, there's 3 or 5, and St. Louis is known for like 3 main food. That's pretty much all we get. It's a toasted raviolis, which is on the Hill. We have pork steak, which I'm sure some of your listeners have heard of. Pork steak comes out, and obviously St. Louis style ribs, and then gooey butter cake are like kind of the 4 things that St. Louis is known for, and beer. Obviously, you know we're known for beer, but Budweiser, but Anheuser-Busch.
What is gooey cake?
It's gooey butter cake, and I have no idea what it is. It's an excessive amount of sugar and butter. It's what me and my cousins have at Thanksgiving each year, and we are pretty much comatose because we each get our own. Our moms each bring one for each of us, and we don't have to share with the rest of the family. But it's the most copious amounts of sugar and butter you could ever possibly have.
All right. Well, that sounds like it would be at least a good dinner treat after the fact. Yeah. Love it. All right. Nick Bauer joining us from Primo Grills. You can check him out at primogrill.com. Nick, give us a high level of where Primo is sitting currently in 2021.
Yeah, you know, so it's been a boring 6 to 12 months, as everyone knows. You know, not much has happened up there.
Yeah, right. It's very flat.
I'm trying to think when I came on. I think I came on October, November last year, and we had just moved the factory. So we're planning on moving the factory from Georgia to Missouri in April of 2020. And then COVID hits, and the robotics engineer who was going to come from the overseas, from UK, couldn't travel. So we ended up moving the factory in August. And, you know, we didn't know what we didn't know. And the startup wasn't as nearly as nice and quick as we would have hoped. So we lost a couple of months there. But we got things going again. You know, we have 3 employees out of about 30 that moved with it. So we underestimated the learning curve. And of course, with the labor shortage, so we started trying to hire in June and July, and we haven't been able to find labor at all. And then when you do train labor, holding labor. So, you know, we definitely, I'm also the harshest critic. So at the same time, we moved the factory, we improved the hinge, we improved the cap. We did all these changes that the consumers and customers were asking for 5 to 10 years. And we did this all, moved it all in about 12 months. So I give us like your 6 or 7. You know, we lost a month or 2 there because we should have been pushing harder and had better controls. And but we have the new SKUs out. We're shipping them. I promise everyone we're shipping. We build and ship every day. It may not seem like it because there's zero product in the supply chain. Pretty much everything we ship now is sold, which is a good thing. But you know, we're getting there. You know, the new accessories are coming. We placed the order with our vendor last September. We just had the first container arrive last week, and they built them wrong. So 100% of them got rejected.
Wow.
They have to rebuild them again and then fly them over. So I'm almost afraid to announce dates now when things are going to start shipping because you can't trust shipping times, and now you can't necessarily trust QA. So I tested some of the oval drip pans the last weekend, and they dripped. And drip pans aren't supposed to drip.
No, it's not one of those products that should be like exactly what the name is talking about, right?
Yeah. So it's, you know, people are always like, how come you're not announcing more? How come you're not sharing more? Because it's, at this point, we want to make sure what we share is what we know for fact. And in the current world, in the current environment with labor and supply chain and just, heck, even Texas, who apparently our foam vendor who packaged our foam for our grills and components came out of Texas, and we couldn't get it for 3 weeks. You know, you think the world's not as connected as it is, but it's crazy how connected everything is. So it's just hard to make promises now that if you're only 50-50, if you know it's going to happen for sure. So we're not purposely withholding information. Obviously, we want to share things as soon as we possibly can. But we also don't want to share 5 different ship dates because I got 5 different ship dates from my vendor. So we're trying to be smart and try to just share what we know is fact.
Let's talk quickly about some of those updates that you had mentioned. I've been talking in the last handful of weeks about the new grill head lift hinge. Talk to us a little bit about that and what the benefit of it is.
Yeah, so these are things that these are. You know, the traditional product's a great product, but your XL is about a 35%. I mean, about a 35-pound lift, and we got that down to about 8. So that's not a problem for me. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay, sorry, the screen changed me. That's not a problem for me, but you know, someone out there, they want to have it. You know, so we took about 80% of weight out of that. The cap. You know, it's more of a rain style cap. We have a setting from 1 to 5 on it, just like we do on the bottom mash door. So you'll see some of our cooks and our chefs and our social media influencers out there, when they talk about the cooks they did, they're going to talk about, hey, this is on a 2, this is on a 3. So we're not talking about this is on 1 pinky or this is on 2 thumbs or this is on an inch or 2. So when we do the Primo cookbook out there, you know, you'll hear us refer to these kind of 1 through 5s as just kind of the basis for the cooks. Obviously, each one can be different. Temps can be a little different, but it's just a starting point. So we're not talking about, hey, this is 1 pencil width. You know, this actual put it on a number. And these are just little, you know, they're not crazy fancy things, but there's things that have been asked for the last 5 to 10 years. And when I looked at purchasing the Primo, was prior to 2019. I talked to customers, I talked to our distributors, you know, what things we want to do. And they gave me this list. And I'm like, hey, we could do this. And we could do this pretty quick. It wasn't like we had to reinvent the wheel. Like, hey, it's a great product. If you just shift this or change this to here, you know, you're going to have a better product. I'm like, hey, we can do that. And we have. And the demand has been great. And we're going to be behind probably on orders for the foreseeable future because the demand is still outstripping ability to supply. And we're making more than Primo ever has. And, you know, for a startup, literally we moved the factory in August, September. So what are we, 7-8 months in? Now we're making more than it ever had. And when the factory was in Georgia for 20 something years. So it's pretty impressive from the team. It hasn't been easy. I'm not going to say it's been easy and we're perfect. But we're getting better each day.
When you're making more than you ever have and you're still selling at an incredible rate, as you're forecasting out the next 6 or 7 months, how hard is it to try and figure out when you should start to ramp down or flatten out at least?
Yeah, so one of the advantages of us selling through wholesalers, and we have a fair amount of European customers, is we're having them place their, like, instead of just placing an order and assuming we're having it in stock and shipping in 2 weeks, no, like, hey, if you think you're going to need X amount of units in the next 12 months, place those orders now. And if you don't need them, cancel them, but save your production time, because I'm just not going to have my stuff. So we're working very closely with our distributors out there, and they're telling us what they think they're going to need. So thankfully, that gives us an idea of what's coming. So we have orders in September, October, now, that if they don't need it, they can cancel it, but they think they're going to need them. And we let them adjust it a week or two before it ships and this and that. So that's where we just have to work with our customers, and because we can't guess. If we try to guess, we're going to fail. And they're guessing too, but they're guessing closer to the person who's actually purchasing the product. So I think we're going to be, this run is going to be out there like this for at least another year. Just because it's the world has changed the last 13, 14 months. And it's just, we've created and brought in so many more people to what we do. And I'm just not talking about Primo. I'm talking about barbecue in general, people that were traveling and now they're home, people who may have just bought a rubber kettle this year is going to graduate to a Primo in 4 to 5 years from now. We've just expanded the base out there. And that's a great thing.
When you're talking about the new stuff, the lift hinge and the caps and so forth, these are going to be standard on new production models, but then you can also go and retrofit if you currently own one?
Yeah, these have been standard in production since a couple weeks before Christmas, and we're selling, and we produce retrofit kits for all the old models. And when I mean old models, there's a couple of different styles of old. So go to the website to see. The previous ownership didn't really believe in engineers and drawings, so when they change from one style of production to the other, they don't know exactly what it was, and they didn't really keep serial numbers or dates on any production. So I know we looked kind of stupid when we asked people to take photos of their grill and tell us what year you bought it. And I reached out on some local people from Facebook in St. Louis, and our engineer was driving around last week measuring stuff, because there wasn't really past engineering drawing. So we have them now. So there's several different retrofit kits out there from the hinge style. Just because when they changed the manufacturing, it changed the circumference a little bit.
As somebody who is not a handy person by absolute admission 100% of the time, are these pretty simple fixes to make or retrofits to make?
Well, the cap is pretty easy. You and I could probably take off the cap. I'm about as useless as anyone when it comes to handy. So I have no idea. I haven't done it myself. I know the people who post on the groups that have done it themselves. They say it's pretty easy. I promise you, it wouldn't be easy for me. But people are more handy. I'm sure them and a buddy can figure it out. But yes, it's for the most part, it is. I'm just not. That's just not my experience.
Yeah,
my expertise.
Not my forte either. We're talking with Nick Bauer from Primo Grills. You can check them out at primogrill.com. So as you're selling to wholesalers or deal, I mean, you can't buy direct from you guys. Yeah. How's that working out from a business standpoint? Are you able to continue to bring on new dealers at this point, or are you kind of in a hold phase until inventory ramps up, or what are you doing that side?
Yeah, so we haven't added a lot of new customers on the wholesale side, on the two-step distributor side, because quite frankly, we don't need it. I'm a little removed from the dealer side, and I haven't been able to travel. Normally, I travel the country and travel each territory and go meet the dealers, so I haven't been able to do kind of my Primo dealer calls yet. So the dealers I do know that are buying our Primo are from our harsh side, from the gas logs and fireplaces side. So, it's kind of sad because I read all the Primo emails every single day. I get them. I respond to them. This city, this dealer doesn't carry Primo anymore. So there definitely was, when the Kamado swing was in full swing 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, every single dealer got into the product category, and definitely some have dropped it these last couple of years. So we have a lot of work on the dealer level to really build out that dealer base. Like it was in the past, and we'll make it better moving forward. So, and bigger point, we don't sell consumer direct don't call us. Don't try to buy direct. I get these emails every day, and it's like I'm the worst person ever when I tell people we don't sell consumer direct. We want to support our trade partners. We want to, the dealers, the wholesalers, we want to support them. So from a warranty, so from a new accessory, from this new retrofit hinge, we want to drive that business back to our dealers. We want them to sell more Primo. And if you as a consumer, if you buy more product from your dealer, they're going to stock more stuff. They're going to have more stuff. That's how we fill the supply chain, is by driving that business back to the dealers. I get it. If you're in somewhere, Wyoming or somewhere, there's not a dealer, we're not going to tell you, we can't help you. If you need a warranty or something, but we prefer that it's all run back through the dealer base, because we're trying to support those dealers and trying to grow the brand together. We're not like some of our other competitors out there who you can go to the website and you can buy direct. That's not us.
It's got to be a unique position to be in from a business standpoint, because we're in a culture now where the end user, the expectation from the consumer is that you can go somewhere online, make the buy, you have it in 2 days, sometimes less in most instances. Is that a hard expectation to overcome, or should you guys be adjusting in some way to try and meet that, whether it's getting stuff to dealers quicker, or they have to stock more and buy more from you guys, or is it just a non-realistic expectation sometimes?
Well, that's a great question, and there's a lot in that question, so I'll try to answer kind of each piece of it. It was a massive learning curve failure for us, getting more, from warranty, for consumer warranty. Consumers are used to, if they place an order, they get an email. When it ships, they get an email with a tracking number. Our computer system has always been to trade partners, wholesalers, just not set up for consumer-based stuff. To get that email when we ship it, you need to have a account set up for us. To have an account set up for us, you need to have a credit app, you need this and that. It's impossible to do that for every consumer warranty that we get. So we're going to get there. We're just not there yet. So that's been the biggest challenge for us, is the expectation for consumer, to your point, is the Amazon. I'm going to place the order. I'm going to get immediate confirmation on it. As soon as it ships, I'm going to get immediate confirmation. As soon as I get a tracking number, I'm going to be able to track it. And we just don't have that yet. And we've been trying to update our ERP system for the last year, but granted, what else happened with COVID? And you're not trying to launch a new computer system without the people there on site. So if it crashes, you're out of business. So you can't really do that via Zoom. So we're getting there. But yeah, the key is, ultimately, it still depends on us as the manufacturer to get more product out there, to get more product in the wholesalers, in the dealers. So I will 100% take the blame for having the supply chain be light, because demand is far outstripping our ability to ship. But hopefully, give us some time on the consumer side. We will get better at that. I just didn't realize how important that was, because for 87 years of being in business, it wasn't important for us. And then from October 31st to November 1st of 2019, all of a sudden it went from not being on our levels of importance to, holy heck, this is completely overwhelming our system. Just for example, for people who have, if they complain about our customer service or parts department, which they really haven't, they understand, but we needed to hire 5 people in our parts department last fall, and starting in September. And so far we've hired 42 people, and we've gotten 3.
Wow.
So we're still too short, and we've hired 42 people to try to get 5. So they're like, well, I called this lady and she told me this. Well, she was only there for 4 days. It's just been a challenge with labor and training. And as soon as you train someone, something else happens. I'm not going to complain too much, because the reason why it's a challenge is because for our business, it's helped our business. The reason why people don't want to work is because a lot of money has been put out there and has helped our sales. So, I can't take credit in saying, hey, I'm doing such a great job on the sales side, but then I blame labor side. You have to accept, they both come together.
Nick Bauer joining us here on the show, president of Primo Grills, the website primogrill.com. And you can check them out on social media as well. Nick, anything else before I let you go this evening?
No, I mean, I appreciate the time, appreciate the show, and as I said, the Primo fans out there, just have some patience with us. I promise, we have great things coming, and as soon as we know for sure when it's gonna come, there's no one out there more than me who wants to announce this stuff, because I'm so excited, because I've been using the accessories, I've been cooking on them. It's going to be great, but I want to make sure when we announce it that it is for sure. And the quality stuff we had last week, last thing I want to do is, hey, this is going to be here in 3 weeks, and we're going to ship it, and then we get them and they're all wrong. But it's coming, I promise.
All right, you've heard it here first. It's Nick Bauer, and be on the lookout for the hinge and the caps as well that you can retrofit. Nick, always appreciate the time, and thanks so much for the support of the show.
Thank you so much.
You got it. There he is, Nick Bauer from Primo Grill, primogrill.com. Good stuff there. 35 pounds down to 8. I can lift that now. I can give up the workout routine. And I like the numbers, too, on the caps, right? I mean, much easier, as Nick was saying, to say 1, 2, 5 instead of, my thumb might be fatter or skinnier than somebody else's thumb that's giving that suggestion on a recipe. That's the way to eliminate any issues and errors and so forth. All right, that was Nick Bauer, primogrill.com. Let me talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills. That's right, Green Mountain Grills, some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. A Choice line and a Prime Plus line to choose from. Prime Plus gets you all the stuff that you want from a features ad, Wi-Fi technology, app access, 2 internal meat probes. You can check out the level of the pellet hopper. It's got lights on the inside of the cooking chamber, a very robust build, and a shelf in the front. If you want to save a couple bucks, no problem. You don't need all that technology. Fine. Choice line for you. Jim Bowie, Daniel Boone are the 2 sizes you can fit on that patio, and they will both lines accommodate that pizza oven insert. If you want something that's a little bit more travel-friendly, check out that Davy Crockett. In fact, my boss just got a Davy Crockett last week. Putting it together. He's going to be using it very quickly. He's going to report on results. GreenMountainGrills.com. That's GreenMountainGrills.com. We are back to wrap the first hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
This segment being brought to you by Fireboard 2, Fireboard 2 Drive, and Fireboard 2 Pro. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via the red, white, and blue hoo-hoo tooths. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck. Fireboard fully integrated with both, if you didn't know. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. I'm trying, you might have noticed I'm going at my left ear over the last couple of interview segments. I was trying to wear the left ear piece. It is not good. Why would it be? This is the ear that the guy carved up. Made my hole bigger. I mean, it's barely fitting in there. I'm going to have to take it off over the break. Go back to the one ear. It's nice to hear myself in both ears, but it doesn't have the fit. Plus, it's all like, this one's so smooth. This one's all twerked out. Torqued? Doesn't matter. That was Nick Bauer last segment, primogrill.com. As he had mentioned, the supply chain is light. So if you're in the market for a Primo Grill, just relax a little bit. They will be coming if your dealer is out. Don't get all nervous in the service and jump by for no reason. Patience is a virtue. Once again, that website, primogrill.com. If you have a Primo now and you want to get the lift hinge and the caps, they are available for retrofit. There you have it. Plus an abridged conversation with Steven Reichlen before we got to Nick. And I have to look up the hill to eat at when we get to St. Louis. Hey, who's looking forward to that drive on Thursday? We'll be back right after this.
Hello, this is Jenny Bell from Clarington, Ohio, and I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to. Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener. Oh, listen, Libertius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
Welcome to the second hour, everybody. Happy to have you aboard here on the Barbecue Central Show. We are a show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue grilling, a.k.a. your Tuesday evening's live fire fun and frivolity show. Here's Ant. I'm going to get a large glass of ice to crunch during this segment. Good for you. People think that's not a real sound, but like that's Mo chomping ice right there. This is real. That's him on the show. The 1 second of clean ice chomp that I got out of that whole interview. I was talking over a lot of it, but there was a half second worth of clean ice chewing, and that is it. That isn't some other ice chomp soundbite. That's a legitimate Mo case on ice chomp if you need it. And I'm playing that with peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
No offense, of course. Of course. When we say no offense, but I will offend. But that is not anything other than really Mo Cason chewing ice on the show when he was doing, when he was eating. Right? Right. A break. I didn't have a problem with it. A lot of people had a problem with it. Ant S might have had a problem with it. I didn't take this out of my ear. I got to do that. Hold on. I'll just leave it. Oh. It's got very tiny plugs. Oh, God damn it. Oh. There we go. And we'll put it back in its case. And away it will go, and then I'll have to send away to 64 Audio and go to the audiologist to get a brand new mold made. The freaking doctor costing me more money than he even knew that he was costing me. I even asked him this time around, I said, hey, are you really going to F with the structure of my ear? Because then I'm going to have to go ahead and get a new earpiece again. These things aren't cheap. This isn't like the Shure standard here. These are custom molded from a real reputable audio company that makes internal ear monitors, for crying out loud. Now, you know, they're not the most expensive ones, but good night. Anyway, still to come on this show this evening, Jess Pryles, hardcorecarnivore.com. Don't forget, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Snapchat /BBQ Central Show on Facebook and Twitch for a live video feed. Also, /RD Rempe on the tubes for a live video feed as well. Coming up this Friday on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Episode 173, taking you back to April 23rd, 2013, being featured this coming Friday is none other than Robin Lindar's Grill Girl, grillgirl.com. At this specific point in time, Robin was caught up in some kind of Huffington Post controversy when some other female took issue with Robin on some of the terms that she was using and took the time to call her out in a Huffington Post piece. We break it all down. Now, I listened back to the best of today as I was writing the promo for this. And I have to say, at points in this particular interview, I'm not overly happy with some words that I use, some phrasing that I might have used. I might have did a generalization of fat talk. I'm, 8 years ago? And I'm not too into that for me now. That you probably wouldn't find me doing that anymore, but we continue to evolve as humans. We try to be better people every day. At least I try to be better every day. Whether you're trying or not, that I guess doesn't matter, but I'm trying. So if you ever run into me, know that if you find me to be a little bit put-offish or ebullient or egotistical or self-centered, I'm going to try and be better the next time you see me. I'll try and be gregarious and friendly, empathetic. Words that I'm talking to my therapist about being better at. So don't judge me too harshly. Don't forget, if you want to hear a guest or a segment that has already taken place on this show in the past, you can do a you can do a long distance request and dedication to executive producer of the Best Moments Show, John Solberg. You can email him, JON, at thebbqcentralshow.com. By the way, if you like his voice, you can hire him to do voiceovers now. I would get in contact with him and say, John, I love your dulcet tones. I'm starting a podcast, or I need a TV commercial run because I'm a station manager at XYZ terrestrial radio station. We like that, David Lee, but we need somebody a little less amped, a little bit more everyday ham and egger. John's your guy. He's got all the equipment, professional sounding gear. He's got a professional studio. Outside of that, and here's what I think the biggest one. If you're thinking about contacting John to help with your podcast, if you don't like the editing portion of it, and who does? He's a master at editing, post-production, enhancements, making you sound better than maybe you actually sound. That's what you should be paying for. Pay to get your time back. Pay good money to John to have him take his time so you get your time back. You want to talk about when you should pay for things? Well, how much time do you want to save? How much time do you want back in your day? Do you want to spend 2-3 hours dicking around editing a podcast, raw file? Or do you want to offload that to a professional like John? I would say give it to John. Just my 2 cents. I know this because he does things like this for me. So if I would trust him with my sound and my quality and my level of professionalism, he's going to go way over the top for you. Don't you worry about it. And if you don't like it, come and see me. And I'll call you a liar and send you on your way. Email feedback from the past few weeks. Tim in Idaho writes in, Greg, your Harry Carey impression is not...
Andrew, you are not the father.
Your Harry Carey impression is not very good. It helped the horse content not seem so weird, but the impression, not so great. Keep working on it. Keep working on it, Tim. Are you new to the show? I will have you know, Tim in Idaho. And where in Idaho? I don't know any other city besides Boise. It's not Boise, it's Boise. Like it's spelled. I've been lectured about that from area hinterland president John. There's no way. John Dawson. Wow. I almost drew a blank there. It was very embarrassing. So, Tim, if you know John Dawson, make sure you pay your hinterland dues to him because he's collecting. He's the hinterland's president. But if you're just new to the show, my Harry Carey impersonation doesn't need work. It's dialed in. That's one of the very few that I do incredibly well. And it's not a Harry Carey impersonation. It's my impersonation of Will Ferrell doing his impersonation of Harry Carey. So if we're going to get technical on how crappy my Harry Carey impression is. It's not even an impression of Harry Carey himself, who was one of the best baseball play-by-play guys ever in the history of the earth. Him and Stoney. It's my impersonation of Will Ferrell doing his impersonation of Harry Carey. Diane Me is in this week. For now, Diane, I have a feeling you might vacate in 35 to 40 minutes. Also, cities in Iowa, Boise, Idaho, Twin Falls, Pocatello, or is it Pocatello? I don't know. Sun Valley, Sandpoint, never heard of them. Boise is the one that I have heard of. Also, I think there's a college in Idaho called Rick's College. That's like the JUCO to BYU. My buddy went there. A lot of Mormons. I think 99% of the student body at Rick's is Mormon. But in order to get into, like, when you can't, it's like Ohio State here in Cleveland or here in Ohio. Believe it or not, it's ridiculously hard, like Ivy League hard as a senior in high school to graduate out and then get admitted onto main campus down in Columbus into Ohio State, Maine. It's virtually impossible. You have to have 4.0. You have to have letters of whatever from high-ranking officials, things of this nature. It's not like it was when I was going in. That was like everybody's safety valve was Ohio State. No. It's tough. Oh, by the way, since we had him on last segment, let me talk to you quickly and once again about our friends over at Primo Grill. That's right. Oval-shaped. Not Ovaltine, oval-shaped. A patented oval design offering true two-zone cooking. What does that mean? Well, you have your coals on the right side of the oval. You have nothing on the left side of the oval. You have your meat above the non-coal side to do a, let's say, reverse sear or do it a little bit slower. And then, at that magical moment, you move that meat from the non-heat side to the heat side where the coals are. That's two-zone cooking, and you can do that with Primo. Some of the other ceramic cookers will say they can do that, but they're round. You can't really do that with a round one. By the way, if you're looking at this Primo oval cooker and your mind is going, what the F? I can't get over it. I need a Primo round cooker. They got one too. I would suggest getting over yourself and getting the oval cooker. But if you can't get over it, they have a round one. Why not? They have a ceramic gas grill, if you can believe it. That's like next level stuff. You want to take that outdoor kitchen to the next level? Get the Primo gas grill ceramic cooker. Insane. As Nick talked about last segment, they have the new easy lift hinge for the grill head. So it's going from a 35-pound lift to an 8-pound lift. I can do that now. Also, they're doing the top and bottom air controls with the numbers. Retrofitting, certainly available. Look at them at primogrill.com. On the Instas at Primo Ceramic Grill. Also on the books at Primo Ceramic Grills as well. Jess Pryles in the green room. And I can only imagine if we will have technical difficulties on this side of the hour, but we will certainly hope not. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the #1 most downloaded barbecue and grilling podcast anywhere. The Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Hey, this portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker. The most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet, currently available in 2 sizes with a host of accessories to complete your pit barrel cooking experience. Whether you are a beginner or a professional or somebody in between, definitely a cooker you want to add to the arsenal, visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. My guest in the second hour, CEO of the Hardcore Carnivore brand of products, also a spokesperson for a number of high-level brands. She's a book author, internet sensation as well. You find her making quarterly appearances on this show for the balance of 2021. and she is also a Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famer. We race the hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Jess Pryles. Hey, Jess.
Hi. You made me really paranoid that we're going to have technical difficulties now.
Well, you know, of me, like if it happens one time an hour and a half ago, I'm just immediately sprinkling it all over guests because, you know, that's just my mania. Nevertheless, happy to have you here. Happy to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, and I appreciate you stepping up for the quarterly appearances through the duration. By the way, 2021 rapidly coming to a close, if you can believe it.
Isn't that crazy? It really what a year! What a great year it was.
Yes, it's a oh my God. Anyway, look. First of all, happy belated birthday.
Thank
week,
you.
right? What is the most important thing you have learned in your years of life?
Gosh, wow, how do you sum it up? To really, confound people with your accent, maybe, and just always have them talking. I don't know, Greg, let's be honest. It's probably something profound like go back and tell your younger you in your 20s to trust your gut and not take no for an answer. And then it's also like if someone was really smart, they'd invent an antacid for the barbecue community. Like maybe that's something that I've learned. I don't know.
All right, fair enough.
Is that good? Did that work for you?
I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer. I mean, you've lived however many years of life on this earth. You've gained life experience. I didn't know if there was just like one thing that pops out. I'm paid to ask the tough questions and not the bullshit softballs. I mean, I'll sprinkle some softballs in, but why not ask something that makes people think and go, hey, I wonder how I would answer that question.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I feel like I'm geared up for the death row meal and who would you invite to the, anyone living or dead to the food conversation kind of deal. But the rest of it's a little bit of a mystery.
Yeah, so I bought these things a while back. I've never used them. Pod decks. So they're conversation starters for people that don't know.
Do you want to do? Can we do one?
Yes, let's do 3.
I'm so excited. Okay, I'm ready. I'm so excited. Let's.
If you can instantly become one, what would you be an expert in?
Sarcasm?
What's the one bad habit you're trying to get rid of?
Sugar. Sugary sarcasm.
What are you currently curious about? I paid money for these, by the way.
These are terrible, aren't they? I'm currently curious about, I don't know, I guess I've been researching marination uptake rates in various meats.
Wow.
How about that?
All right, and here's another deck. We'll just try these for fun. It's called What the Heck?
Wait, you bought 2?
I have 4, but we're not going through that. It'll take up the whole thing. This is called What the Heck?
Okay.
Jess, which body part did you wish you... Wait. Which body part do you wish you could detach and why?
Probably my head, because just my brains keep it so heavy and cumbersome.
Jess, how many chickens would it take to kill an elephant? I'm not kidding. It says it right there.
1.
How many chickens?
1.
Why 1?
Because if it eats it wrong, it'll choke and die. And that's all it takes. If it obstructs its airways, it can kill it.
Yes, if you can't breathe and you don't remedy that situation quickly, you will die. You're right.
You will.
All right. Well, there you go. That's Pod Deck. Pod Deck.
Well, thanks, everyone.
Some kind of...
Really enjoyed being here.
Send Jess and I some money for that unsolicited plug. I don't usually do that. Before we talk about some... Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to tell you something cool that I saw on my end, because I know that you posted on Instagram yesterday a question sticker for anyone who had a question for me.
Yep.
And you phrased it, does anyone have any serious questions for Jess Pryles? Yep. And several people reached out to me because I obviously reposted you to try and solicit said questions. And several people reached out and said, it's appropriate but sad that he had to qualify that by including the word serious, which was a real thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like to think that I pay attention to people that I follow and hear some things that they go through. So why not? Look, we're going to get real heavy here just for a second.
Okay.
I think a lot of things in life, I think everything in life, if it's going well or if it's going bad, it can boilerplate down to this one thing: missed expectations. Think about your personal life. You're having an issue with a significant other. Think about your work life. You're having an issue with a customer or a coworker.
Mm-hmm.
What does it really come back to? The person that you are in conflict with doesn't have the same expectation that you have, or you or they have set an expectation that wasn't met. What can only come of that? Conflict, bad feelings, issues, you name it. So obviously the fix to all this, as I had posted on Facebook maybe a week or two ago, was want to be happy, have zero expectations from everyone. Have zero. Live your life with zero expectations. You can't ever be disappointed. And
That's
even in
true.
the most mediocre scenarios, you're like, hey, pretty effing good. Because you have no expectations. But when you have an expectation, it's not done the way you would do it, or somebody's yelling at you because it's not the way they would have. Now we have an issue. So I think in the end, I'm with that post, and in a long way to get there, setting the right expectation. Don't come at me with, is Jess single? Can I marry her? Where does she live? Give me serious questions. Let's cut the BS right from Jump Street. And if you have a real question, I will take it. And if we have time,
Did you
I'll
get
run it
any
back.
good questions?
I did.
Oh, good.
I did. Absolutely.
Success.
Yeah. So if we have enough time, we'll get to those. If not, you people try again next quarter. Before we talk about some hardcore carnivore business items and some other grill talk and whatnot, I think the last time you were on, we had mentioned that you had just begun the curriculum for the meat science program over at Iowa State. Yeah, you were frosh back then. Are you a soft now?
No. Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
This is technically the second year. Yeah.
All right. So what's new with meat education?
And I put on all that weight. Isn't that what you're supposed
Freshman
to do? No,
15, yes. But usually that's via keg stands and pizza at 2 in the morning.
I mean, who's to say that didn't happen?
I am not here to say anything. I'm just telling you what I know.
Right. Yeah, second semester down, but second year, it's confusing, at Iowa State University doing their, in their meat science department, doing a graduate certificate in meat science. So I had to apply like a college application. I had to get special exemptions for not having scientific prerequisites and prove that I could do it. So it was quite a whole thing to get in, but it has been so awesome. It was the first time I ever wanted to go back to school. You know, even when I had a degree already, but that was one of those like, everyone expects me to get a degree kind of thing, but I don't really know what I want to do. And this was like, oh, I really want to, and I think it'll be great. And it has been great. And I've learned so much, and I love my professors, and I thought I knew a lot, and now so much more has opened up already. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so fascinating. Like my husband was standing, it's kind of gross too. My husband was standing in the kitchen the other day and his arm was twitching. And I'm like, I know what causes that. Because we had to study all the way down into like contraction to understand the conversion of muscle to meat. So yeah, it was pretty neat.
Are you finding with your experience prior to getting into the program here that you knew more than you thought you knew, or what?
It made me realize that I knew really fragmented pieces of information. So because I had picked them up so haphazardly through things that I'd read or courses, like short courses that I'd attended, or just speaking to folks who I know in meat science, I picked up bits and pieces, but I wasn't really sure how to connect them together. And you really do need, it's opened my eyes up to this bigger understanding. I find it, I wanted to do this to be able to simplify more and share more information with people, but it's funny because the deeper you go and the more you learn, it becomes harder to simplify, because it's like, well, that's kind of true, but you're also oversimplifying it just to get this like kind of neat message out. So it's fascinating, and I'm loving every minute of it.
All right. When is potential graduation then for you?
I have 2 more semesters after this, so and one of them is kind of this big project. And to finish this semester, we're doing big literature reviews. So a lot of people don't necessarily know, but we've talked about this before. So Greg, that a lot of people, especially on the internet, are like, here's what I say because I think it's my opinion. And you can't do that in science. You have to be like, I have an opinion, but here's the multi-year project that I did to prove said opinion, and now it's been published in a recognized scientific journal. So I'm actually going through and doing a high literature review on anything that's been done on dry aging and critiquing and comparing the results, especially as it relates to those dry aging bags. So it's really neat to be able to be collating factual scientific information and present that on. So that's pretty cool. So it looks like graduation will be 2022 sometime. And I'm going to go to Ames to do it for sure. Like, yeah. I'm so, I don't know if anyone's been excited to go to Ames before, but I am.
I'm sure plenty of people have been excited to go to Ames, wherever that is.
Okay.
We're talking with Jess
in
Pryles.
Iowa.
I know, that was a joke. JessPryles.com, hardcorecarnivore.com, Iowa State. I mean, come on. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some hardcore carnivore business stuff.
Okay.
I was going to ask you about rubs and spices and stuff, but let's skip that for a second because there is a product that's out. I mean, it has been out, I guess, for a handful of weeks, maybe a month or so, maybe 2 months. Disposable cutting boards. Now, my entrance into disposable cutting boards was years ago, like maybe even when I had first kind of started getting into barbecue. So that would have been 2006, 2005. I got my Weber Smoky Mountain. I found virtualweberbullet.com, which helped me learn that smoker. And I met a whole bunch of people virtually. One of them was the pitmaster of Smoky Mountain Smokers, who was a pretty relevant competition team at the time. And aside from being good on the circuit, their big claim to fame was selling these disposable cutting boards to like every other pitmaster on the competition circuit. But it never seemed to break out of that particular arena. And then it was like it all went away. And I have 5 or 10 different plastic cutting boards. I don't use wood for whatever reason. And now they're being almost reintroduced again by you. So I was just wondering where the inspiration to grab these up and make a run at it came from.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was certainly aware of that brand that you're mentioning because I can't even remember. I'd only used them once or twice. I think the first time someone showed me them, and same thing, it was very limited to comp barbecue. So I think I was teaching a class in the Rio Grande Valley down in Texas, so deep South Texas, and they gave it to me to cook on. And I'm like, oh, these are a neat idea. And then never really saw them again. Like I didn't see them in stores, and I didn't have much to do with them. And I just, I had an idea because I have a great relationship with a paper manufacturer to say like, oh, maybe I tried to look for them, and it was just really difficult to get your hands on them, and it was it just gave me the idea, obviously, that we can do them a little bit differently, and we can just make them more accessible to people. And I don't necessarily think that was the very first incarnation of them. I know that even our local grocery store here has a version of them, a very different product, but nonetheless, the concept of disposable cutting boards. For me, it was more about making them even cheaper and more accessible, and putting that grid on them. So we added a 1 and 2 inch grid, and we're promoting them. We're trying to bring out things under the Hardcore Carnivore line that are suitable for any kind of lifestyle activity, not limited to barbecue. So, I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but like, I'm a hunter, and so taking that to deer camp and not having to mess with cleaning up is phenomenal. And we promote them for hunting and fishing and camping, and they're in a very attractive package, which I think is part of it. So it's kind of like, you give respect to the people that came up with it, and I'm not sure that they necessarily would have taken it any further than they did. And so I saw an opportunity to kind of take the concept, do something different, and really put it out there to make it useful for people, because we're all about making tools, useful tools for carnivores.
So I can see good use there in the wild, as you're talking about, or if you're on some kind of a remote cater. But At home, can I make the argument that I have these other 5 cutting boards that I had mentioned, and why would I want to get Hardcore Carnivore disposable cutting boards or disposable cutting boards in general?
So I think that there's obviously something to be said for, I have wooden boards and plastic boards, and I still use them as well, but I do have a pack of these disposable boards open in my kitchen, and I'll use them for big meat, like if I'm cutting steaks one day, like big off a ribeye roll, or if I'm trimming a brisket inside, for sure, because it can be, cleaning, especially fat off boards when they need to be that big. Often people can't run them through their dishwasher, and they might not be cleaning them as sanitized as they need to be. So there's a food safe aspect to it as well, especially for domestic use. But I got the testers in. I'm trying to think, like I was testing them out already in December. So there were prime ribs and turkeys anywhere, all those huge holiday cuts that you often struggle to find, the correct size board for.
I can get them over at hardcorecarnivore.com right now.
You can, and if you're near Buc-ee's, you can get them there too. And actually, we launched them on Amazon this week too.
Oh, nice. Is that your first foray with Amazon?
No, we sell the crap out of rubs on Amazon,
okay.
But it's our first foray into that category. So you may have to, if you put in hardcore disposable cutting board, you'll find it straight away. And as I mentioned, they're at a really great price to try and make them an everyday item.
What's the price point and how many do you get?
It's $27.99, and you get 30 in a packet.
All right, so less than $1.
Yeah.
Less than $1 a board. That's good.
Yeah. And how much is your time worth in terms of scrubbing boards?
Dude, my time, you know me. My time is worth $500-$600 an hour. So, I mean, give me a break. If anything that I can do to gain back time is time that I can actually have and usable time.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I like.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, so go get your disposable cutting boards for sure. Any new rubs or seasonings released and or coming out shortly that you're allowed to talk about?
We may be talking in Q3. Let me just say that.
All right.
That's all I can say at the moment. I'm bound by my own limitations here.
You're bound by your own NDA. I love that.
NDA. I was going to say that.
When we were in Fort Worth, we did a live interview, and that seemed, I don't forget what year that was, maybe 2018, maybe 2017. That was like the height of dry aging at the moment. Everybody was talking about it. You wrote a huge essay on it and put it on your website, and it was, everybody wanted to do it. Bringing in beer coolers. I always say you can always tell when things have really caught on because people want to do it at home. The people love beer. Right. They start doing it at home. People love dry aging steaks, or they love dry aged steaks, so now they want to do it at home. Well, this crossed over into the home side for sure. Lo and behold, it's still a thing. So where do you place it in popularity right now? Because I know you have something called a steak locker or a steak something or other in your garage right now.
I do. I have a steak locker that they sent me recently. So I started my dry aging project by hacking a fridge. And I was working on it with certified Angus beef. They have one at their center near you, and we got started talking about like how it should be set up and what that microflora in there should be. And so they helped with the project. And as I did it at home over the years, I realized that actually you can't really hack your own fridge because you can mess with the fan and you can put in salt blocks and you can adjust it. But it's kind of the same thing as having a smoker that you didn't really pay a lot of money for, and you're trying to make it work, and you're watching the temperature go 225, 275, 210, and you're like, oh, okay, but maybe if I balance it, like it's got to even out in the middle, and you know that that's not how it works. So what I was finding was that I was fighting humidity constantly, especially because it was in my garage and with a glass door, which makes it even harder to control. And humidity is key to successful dry aging, both in terms of bacteria growth, not having it open up too rapidly. So having seams open up in the meat can be quite dangerous because then you're getting that bacteria inside the meat. So I got this steak locker because it's like a wine fridge for meat. It has proper humidity control and proper temp control. And I think that if you're going to invest, it's not cheap not even talking about the fridge itself, but the stuff you put in there. So you may as well do it right? It's like we tell people you should invest in quality materials because ultimately it's better to do that than ruin a piece of meat by an inaccurate thermometer or a smoker that's losing heat because of cheap welds or what have you. So I've been really, really thrilled about it, and coinciding with the stuff that I've been researching at university or at college. I'm not allowed to call it university, right? Even though it is university. So at college. So a lot of these papers are really interesting because most of the research that's been done on dry aging, especially the bag research that a lot of those dry aging bag companies like to promote, like, look, we're legit. The academia hasn't caught up with the fact that dry aging is artisanal, similar to cheese making or ham making. So they know with hams, because we have so many years and years of research, that an Iberico ham or a Serrano ham from Spain has a je ne sais quoi quality that comes from the microflora, that comes from the bacteria on it, that is completely different to a commercially produced quick run young ham that they just try and sort of fake the flavor on. Same as Benton's ham having such a cult following here in the United States. So I'm starting to unpick that a lot of people haven't cottoned on to the fact or recognized. There's only 2 papers that I've come across so far that have recognized that flavor and the compounds that can be built from that microflora being present makes a big difference. So I think it's getting more and more popular, but it's still a very, it's like any expensive hobby. It's very prohibitive for a lot of people to get involved in. And the thing that scares me more than anything is that we're not talking about like crocheting here, where what can really go wrong. You're talking about an industry that's usually heavily regulated to ensure that you're not accidentally going to poison yourself. And it can be quite dangerous. And, I've spoken to this person and I'm friends with this person, but there's a person who has a 10 million view video on YouTube right now where he's eating a rotten piece of dry aged meat, literally rotten, literally rancid. Yeah.
Why?
Because at the time he filmed the video, he wasn't really didn't really know what he was doing, and he was experimenting because he has been on a real fast learning curve, and someone told him to. Someone who he trusted told him to. And so now you've got an issue because how many people are going to copycat that or think that that's what should, like, you can see it's rancid. So you know me, because I've always talked to you about this pretty much every time I've come on. I think one of the first things we talked about dry aging was same thing. These people come out of the gates. At the time, it was someone else who was an influencer on Instagram who told people that the juice, for lack of a better word, that's in vacuum sealed bags is a solution that's added by the meat company. If you know anything at all about meat, it's called purge, and it's literally water from within the muscle mixed with myoglobin. It's completely natural and comes from within the meat itself. So I'm big. My big platform is accuracy and data. Like I study in order to make sure that I'm disseminating correct information. Very important to me.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it should be important to you too, to make sure that, you don't die from eating rotten meat.
Yeah. Is Ancho the Shafty snoring by you?
Can you hear her? Is that what you were wondering?
Yes. I'm like, what the fuck?
She's sitting under my feet, snoring, and I have filmed videos. She's got that short snout thing. I've filmed videos before where people have DM'd me saying, "Is that your husband on the couch snoring next to you?" And I'll have to like film it again and like pan to the dog. So that's not my stomach grumbling. That is my dog.
No, I figured it was the dog. I've seen those videos. Don't be sorry. I think it's amazing. I love it. All right, so let's go ahead and get to some of the social media questions, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, of course.
I hope I am saying his name right. It's Luis Liafana.
Rivas?
No.
Oh.
Viafana. And I'm putting the double L's in the way that I would say in my limited Spanish instead of Villafana, but I'm saying Viafana because why not? Brisket and pork shoulder, fat side up, fat side down, and why?
Fat side up. 2 reasons. 1, tradition. And 2, theoretically speaking, even though the fat doesn't enter the meat at a cellular level, when the meat cooks and those silver skins or paramecium break down during the cook and convert to collagen, they inevitably create physical gaps between the fibers. So when that fat renders, it can actually enter those gaps between the fibers, whereas if you had the fat side down, it'll drain straight out into your grease trap.
Is there any thought to the protection of the meat? Like you put the fat cap down if you're running a bullet style smoker, or if you have a pellet cooker, the fire pot is typically somewhere centered underneath that full packer if you're cooking that, or brisket flat if you're doing that. Buy into that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it's because it's absolutely factually accurate. It does provide that layer of protection. I have a Pits and Spits pellet grill, and it took me a while to figure out how to cook a brisket on it because I was like ride or die offset. And then I was like, oh, wait, you mean I can recipe test and not have to exhaust myself by running an offset at the same time? So it's been brilliant. But I had to learn the hard way because, as you said, that fire pot, because it's indirect heat, but it's not indirect heat, right? Yep. It's actually just diffused heat. So I cremated the flat on my first few briskets until I figured that out. So in a situation like that, absolutely you can. You're talking a marginal increase of that fat on rendering down. If you're buying a good quality brisket, like a prime brisket anyway, that has a lot of intramuscular marbling, it'll be built in.
Thank you for writing in, Luis. Next question coming in from JS00. Could you please ask Jess what style blade she recommends for breaking down larger cuts of beef and or pork?
Sure. So I have 2 blades that I use. I have a 6-inch boning knife that we sell at hardcorecarnivore.com. That is actually F. Dick brand, which is one of the most prestigious butcher brands out there. A really good semi-flex boning knife with a really sharp tip is exactly what they use in boning. Were you just worried about me saying the word boning over and over? You're shaking your head. That's terrible.
Not that.
What? Which part?
Just
Why
go
are you shaking your head?
Just forget it. Go ahead.
What have you done? Is it Ancho
I
again?
haven't done anything. No. It's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Boning knife, scimitar to cut the steaks. And you can use a hook as well. Like if you're actually breaking down beef off the rail, you can use a hook to like hold the knuckle as you trim it down. But you can cut down a whole beef carcass with a 6-inch boning knife and a steel because you're going to need to keep steeling it as you go.
Right. Next question.
Yeah, that's it.
Hot Dog Ron is coming in. What's your favorite way to top a hot dog? Pausing. I can see.
Mustard and ketchup?
Yes. All
Not bad.
Very American.
I did make a jalapeno relish one time that was pretty good that I would use on that.
I didn't see this taking this left-hand turn, but I'm just wondering how isolated I am. You a raw onion gal?
Yeah.
Really?
For sure. Yeah, my husband hates onions.
What?
He hates onions.
Really?
Yeah.
I have bad news for
onions.
you. It's time to divorce that guy because I'm going to marry him. Onions are the worst. The worst. I didn't think anybody else hated onions besides me. Oh, wow.
Cucumbers, watermelon. He's a real fussy eater, considering.
Really?
I know. Yep.
Look, I have no problem with tomatoes. But every other thing that you just mentioned, I think is the devil's food. I think I have a kindred spirit with your husband. Oh, I can't believe it. I went through weeks of persecution, being called an anti-onionite, and Sam, the cooking guy, now mentions me in his videos for not liking onions. He calls me out by name. I'm getting virtually lambasted over here.
Not even cooked?
No. I mean...
Are you serious?
Look,
they're a building block of flavor.
If I came to your house and you put raw onion in front of me, I would not feature it.
Well, that's different.
I would be polite, and I would not feature it. A cooked onion, like grilled onion, or heavily,
Yeah.
heavily browned, caramelized.
Yeah.
Under protest, because I don't want to be that rude. But other
Okay.
than that, I mean,
What about
I can leave. I can see no instance where onion makes anything better at all. Only, here's the argument I made on the last embedded correspondence site, and I'm sure your husband would agree with me. How can anybody have so much love for whatever the hell that is, vegetable, root, whatever? It physically makes you cry when you prepare that thing. If you stuck your hands in your eyes, no, you would have to put hot sauce in your eyeballs. If you're cutting an onion, it makes you cry. It hurts you.
So you're saying it's like a warning? It's like a warning to not eat. Don't eat me. I'm not good.
Why would you eat something that can physically hurt you? Forget about it. I mean, I don't understand the fascination, but
have you ever eaten gator?
Alligator?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty sure that can physically hurt you.
No, you know what I'm talking about, of course. I wouldn't catch the gator. I would just hope that whoever's serving it to me is serving me gator. I have to take their word for it.
Horses can also kick you and cause some serious damage, and you'd eat them.
Look, I mean, these are horrible arguments. I hate to break the news to you, but I mean,
I like onions.
And fine.
You're the weirdo.
Everybody except me and your husband love onions. Yeah. It's been proven to be time and time again that I am out of my mind when it comes to these things. But I was
you
just
guys
wondering.
can hang out and not eat onions together. Wouldn't that be
it's
fun?
going to be, I can't wait to partner up with this guy. So, all right. Last question from, could be Michelle, like a man, because I think his icon was a man. Michelle Karanan. I apologize. Hi, Jess. How's the following between the U.S. and back at home?
What does that mean?
I'm going to infer.
Okay.
He might be wondering, are you seeing way more U.S. fans, or is there a good mix of both, or is it more Australian fans?
Well, let me put it to you this way.
All right.
The population of Texas is greater than the population of Australia.
Here we come with facts again. Great.
By stupid science, stupid logic, stupid reason. By default, I am due to have more US-based fans. But I have some wonderful, wonderful old and new fans back in Australia that I love hearing from. So, yeah.
Could I make an inference that your Australian fans might be a little bit more fervent than the American fans?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think that my most fervent fans are in Texas, honestly. Because they also love, like, when it's like, oh, and Lone Star, oh, and you have a truck, and oh, you're going hunting, Texas, Texas, Texas. So, you know. Anyone in Texas loves anyone who loves Texas. It's just a thing.
Yes, I've seen it all. I've heard the secession plans, and I've heard everything about it. But nevertheless, look here. Jess, you said it all, and this has been a great quarterly visit. We will see you again next quarter. In the meantime, for everybody listening, there may be a Q3 rub or seasoning announcement, but NDAs prohibit the owner of Hardcore Carnivore, who will actually manufacture that product, from talking about it here on the show this evening. In the meantime, you can buy disposable cutting boards if you wish. Highly recommended and fairly cheap. You can find it on Amazon as well. And in the meantime, JessPryles.com, where you can find a lot of... Fuck. I have to keep you for 5 more minutes. Thank God I said JessPryles.com.
Okay.
This is a website that you are constantly referring people to. Jess, have you ever done a recipe about X, Y, or Z? And it's always like, maybe you should check out JessPryles.com. The thing that I've been asked about the most in the last 24 hours is
cured egg yolk.
Cured egg yolk. Cured egg yolk thingy was the most request that I got. Can you ask Jess about the cured egg yolk thingy? So let's hear how difficult or not difficult it is and why it's great to eat.
Can I tell you how I ultimately trolled everyone on that really quickly, though? So what you're talking about is that on social media, I'm constantly repeating myself with, have you checked the website? Because nearly every caption is like, find more recipes on my website. Find this recipe on my website. You can find more on my website. And then people will inevitably ask, as you've mentioned. And it's funny because I filmed this reel of this soft cured egg yolk, which I love to serve like every now and again because it's pretty indulgent, with steak, like a condiment, right? And I posted it with like, hey, does anyone want the recipe? Let me know in comments. You know, I did one of those obnoxious things that I've never done before. The recipe has been on my website for 2 years.
Yeah, what are
2
you?
years.
Are you reading? God, don't be like me and hate to read. This is
A
what
few
happens.
people on Facebook found it, and I was like, "Go, you guys!" But I did publish the recipe again today. It's very easy. It's a cup of sugar and a cup of salt, and you put it in a container. You mix it together. Put half of it in a container. Put some egg yolks directly on it, like separate them from one another, but just put them directly onto that. Cover them with the rest of the mixture. Put them in the fridge for about 16 hours. Take them out, rinse them. They'll be like this weird opaque color, and then just dry them with a paper towel and serve them with the steak. They're like weird, nearly like the inside of a jelly bean consistency on the outside, and then they're still runny in the middle, but they've intensified in flavor from that light curing process. So, and for anyone wondering about the safety of it, because I got asked about that a lot too, it's no different than eating a sunny side up egg or steak tartare.
Does the salting help? Is there some type of a curing that takes place to make it a little bit more safe or whatever?
A little bit. Like salt will definitely kill the bacteria on the outside, but because the middle isn't cured, you still have a risk. But the risk of salmonella on domestic American eggs is so low anyway that it's one of those, like, may as well take that risk, bro.
Where did you find this? Where did you have this the first time?
I made it in my brain.
This is your recipe, all your own?
Yeah, so yeah, it
Wow.
is actually, because people were doing cured egg yolks and then doing what I mentioned and even more, curing them for 2 or 3 days and then putting them in an oven to dry out and then microplaning them over food like bratarga.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty intense. And I was like, hang on, why don't we stop at that soft, runny egg stage? Like everyone loves a ramen egg like that. Most people like, the yolk porn. So I did that. Yay.
Very nice.
Thanks for asking, Greg.
Yep.
Good for you.
Yes, I'm glad I remembered because I know I can find all the recipes I love over at jesspriles.com, and they're probably all there, even the ones that I'm thinking about in my head and don't want to ask you about on social media in fear of getting yelled at on social media. Anyway, let's try this again. Buy the disposable cutting boards, of course, and you can go to jesspriles.com for recipes, hardcorecarnivore.com for all the other products. And you can see Jess Pryles right here quarterly on the Barbecue Central Show. Jess, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
You bet. Thank you. See you soon.
All right, there she is, Jess Pryles right there from hardcorecarnivore.com. And Jess Pryles. Look, I got to say, it certainly is no surprise that she came up with that, but I didn't know if sometimes people see stuff and then they put their own situation on it. No. Lance Owen, who thinks that stuff up? Jess Pryles thinks that stuff up. The eggs. Yeah, how about that? So give it a whirl. Don't stop at the... what? Stop at the runny part, is what she's saying, all right? Since 1983, Pits and Spits has been handcrafting smokers and grills in Houston, Texas, and in that time, Pits and Spits establishing itself as one of the premier brands in quality offset smokers and more recently pellet grills. Jess Pryles said she just has one. Pits and Spits setting itself apart by using heavy 7 and 10 gauge stainless steel in every cooker, fully welded construction that you can feel when you use the Unit 304 stainless roll top lids and front shelves on every single smoker. Why does it matter? Well, by using higher quality materials, you can reach and maintain temperatures, allowing you to worry more about the meat than the heat. By providing a fully welded smoker, you don't have to worry about grease or smoke leaking out of the barrel or about that grill rattling apart as you move through the backyard as you're getting ready for grilling season. Some of the companies out there are focusing on being a low-cost provider. Pits and Spits focuses on craftsmanship and quality materials. Are there cheaper ways to make their products? Sure. But they don't like tack welds, cheap stainless, and electronics that you can't trust. Having in-house manufacturing gives them complete control of their design and standards. That's not something you'll find in a product that's bought in from overseas. Their steel suppliers supply some of the best materials that can be used in some of the harshest conditions around. They're going to perform in any and all environments. Here's the best part. They have a dealer network across the country. If there isn't one close to you, call Coy in the shop, 844-650-6250. Whether you're a backyard grill master looking to cook steaks for the family or a competition team looking to smoke 50 racks of ribs, Pits and Spits has a product for you. You can check them out online, Pits and Spits, all spelled out, or you can see them in the wild across social media with their handle at Pits and Spits. A little behind, but that's all right. I had to ask about that egg. We're back for the horse meat passage read by Grandpa Rempe, and then we will close it out. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Celebrating over 10 years of prolific and unparalleled live fire barbecue and grilling talk. And yes, it's still being done from Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
This portion brought to you by Smithfield. The grilling season is here. Go to smithfield.com for tips and tricks from pitmasters like Chris Lilly and Darren Worth. You can also go to smokinwithsmithfield.com if you're a competitor. If you finish first place at ribs or pork, announce it there, smokinwithsmithfield.com, as we thank Smithfield for their continued support of the show. And now for the event you have all been waiting for this whole evening, the next passage of the Horse Meat for Human Consumption, authored by Leon Kenny, as read by yours truly, Grandpa Rempe. We got to get to our theme music. In the wrong folders here. Here we go. What was I using? Here we go. Yes! No Harry Carey tonight. That burned my throat for like 2 or 3 days. So Tim or Charlie in Idaho or whoever the hell you were, don't worry, I'm not doing it. I'm using my regular speaking voice, but it will be altered in a reader's way. If you recall last week, we talked about what this book is about. We talked about the run-up on why the book was being written and how you should look at a horse meat option. Again, this is back in 1952. Next topic in this passage, and remember, there's only 16 and 1/2 pages, so we only have 15 weeks to go, everybody. The passage tonight. How nutritious is horse meat? The average person, first considering horse meat as a dietary supplement, naturally wonders, how good is it? Or more simply and directly, is it fit to eat? True, the federal government inspects and certifies it for human consumption. But then there are tales current that horse meat causes skin rash, acidosis, and falling hair. No matter what you say, I have not had horse meat. No falling hair comments. This last is pure nonsense. There is no evidence that horse meat eaten in moderation has ever harmed anyone. In fact, on the contrary, all available evidence indicates that horse flesh is superior to beef, lamb, or even pork as human food. The U.S. Department of Agriculture not only finds it richer in vitamins, from 3 to 5% than beef, but that it also contains certain mineral ingredients absent in other meats. While a compositional analysis reveals that the protein content in horse meat is 7.8% greater than of regular beef. Moreover, which is the best way to start a sentence ever, moreover, the horse is the cleanest of domestic animals. Horses seldom have tuberculosis, never tapeworm, or try China. That's right. So concludes tonight's passage on the Barbecue Central show of Leon Kenny's great book, Processing, Cooking, and Buying Horse Meat for Human Consumption. If you're just tuning in, you missed me talk about how nutritious horse meat is. And as we just learned over those last few minutes, it is damn nutritious. And there's a lot of wives' tales going on out there, especially falling hair. Might look like I've eaten my share of horse meat, but that's a ridiculous old wives' tale or old man's tale. Whatever. Stay tuned for next week. We will have passage number 3. I know you're excited. How do I am? Hey! Let me talk to you quickly about Kosmo's Q, based out of Oklahoma. Kosmo has been providing both backyard and competition cooks World Championship level rub sauces, injection soaks, and brines. Their exclusive wing dust that I gave out a few weeks ago, available on the market today as well. Best of all, each and every one of their products made right here in the States with all natural ingredients. Kosmo is continuing to break new ground in the rub seasoning sauce and injection world. And the results not only proven on that competition trail each and every year, but also proven in backyards. More and more backyard warriors looking to take that barbecue game to the next level, and there is no better way to do that than by picking World Championship quality rub sauces, injections, and marinades, and that's exactly what Kosmos is bringing to the table. Not only is the barbecue game covered, but there's a whole line of products to amp up that grill game as well. By the way, Kosmos knows a little something about grilling because he's a World Championship steak cook as well. Now, I know I have amped you up already. You are hitting KosmosQ.com. By the way, that's Kosmos with a K and the letter Q.com. If you want 10% off when you head on over there to get 10% off the entire order, get all the wing dust, all the marinades, all the injections, the rubs, you name it. Save 10% off when you use code SPRINGBBQ10. All one word. SPRINGBBQ10. 10 at the end. SPRINGBBQ10. And you can save 10% off all of your orders when using that code at KosmosQ.com. That's Kosmos with a K, K-O-S-M-O-S, the letter Q.com, and you use promo code SPRINGBBQ10 to get 10% off the entire order. And you're welcome, and I know a lot of you are taking advantage of it right now, so don't be left out in the cold. Grilling season is here. Even though it is getting ready to snow here in Cleveland overnight and for the balance of tomorrow. And thank God I'm going to Texas next week because I can't stand it. You might be a little warmer by saving 10%. Spring BBQ 10. We're back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Craig Rimpey.
And welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Vortic Watch Company, a small batch custom watch manufacturing and vintage restoration company located in northern Colorado. They take unique, antique American pocket watches and turn them into wristwatches. Their mission: preserve and enhance the legacy of manufacturing excellence in America. In order to do that, they combine traditional and cutting-edge technology to create unique, quality, functional timepieces with exceptional value. The coolest part? Each watch that Vortic makes is a unique, one-of-a-kind timepiece with a story that you can tell over and over again. Vortic, founded on the motto that America wasn't assembled, it was built. Check them out at vorticwatches.com or click the link on the homepage. Diane Mee is weighing in with a comment. The USDA does not inspect horses. Does not.
Andrew, you are not the
I think I almost hate the fact when I say not, I feel obliged to blast Maury. Nevertheless, the USDA does not inspect horses. Diane agreed. No argument there. Remember, the reference material that I am reading to you was copyright 1952.
What?
1952, I said. Back then, USDA was inspecting horse meat for human consumption. Hey, that's going to do it. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Steven Reichlen in an abridged version. Look, between you, me, and the fence post, it had to have been on Steven's side because Nick was fine. Jess was fine. Jess's microphone was fine. So that makes me feel good about the same. Maybe Sandy got a bum microphone. Now I feel bad about that. Now I'm going to have to chase that down. Nevertheless, an abridged Steven Reichlen, which was a shame because he sounded spectacular. We talked with Nick Bauer from Primo Grill, talking about the new lift hinge for the grill head, taking it from a 35-pound lift, wow, to an 8-pound lift. That's like taking all the weight out, pretty much. We also talked about the new air caps for top and bottom. Easy to make, easy to retrofit. You can get the kits. Second hour, Jess Pryles. JessPryles.com, HardcoreCarnivore.com. I think I might run over and grab up a pack of disposable cutting boards and see how they work in the house. Why not? Perhaps a new rub to be mentioned in Q3. We'll see about that. Can somebody please do the yolks? I would try to do the yolks myself, but I'm going to be in St. Louis over the weekend, so I'm not going to be able to do it. But somebody try it out over the weekend and then send me the results so I can feature them on the show next Tuesday. Look, I'm not going to say that Diane Me is one of the funniest folks ever, but look at this comment. Probably a French microphone. Diane, unbelievable. We're going out on the high note here tonight, folks. Undoubtedly, thanks to Diane Me. Big show planned for you next week. Don't forget, American Idol Barbecue Central Show Edition is making its reappearance. Jeff Reiser is showing back up to defend his title. Doug is ready. Rusty is ready. John is ready. I am ready. The judges are ready. Season 2 is ready. Are you ready? Are you excited? I know I am. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Hi, this is Frisky Dog, the barbecue wizard, and you're listening to the Barbecue